Hey, my friends.
Hello.
I
Aditi,
apologize. I
yeah.
apologize for my appearance. We actually had this is like so scary. I can't help but share it. Apparently, somebody on social media in our town allegedly threatened to shoot up the high school. And so they changed today to virtual schooling for our entire school district while they like chase this
Oh,
down and try to figure out what it is and make sure the kids are safe. But because of that, if you hear whining in the background, that's my 9-year-old whining about his schoolwork that he now has to do remotely. And I am late in my day. There you go. But I hope that's a valid reason.
yeah.
Aditi, we don't have.
excuse.
You can go. Oh my goodness, that sounds like you have a lot going on.
No. All good. I just feel like I need to tell you why I'm in like my sweaty run clothes because I haven't had a chance to,
Oh my goodness.
pretty up for all of you yet. Anyway,
Well,
the
you
world
look
is a
better than
crazy
all of
place.
us, so at least it work well for.
You're the best, G. You've always been my favorite.
Man, I try to.
I feel
Maybe
slighted here. I feel slighted.
Listen, Dustin. See, y'all talked on the radio for years. What you understand is now it's the internet. We get to see each other so that the bond builds quicker. Like it's just the way it is.
Seriously. And Dustin, you dropped me for years. You like kind of disappeared on me for a long time. And I brought the love talking about white cornerbacks 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I'm trying.
Are you kidding me? I'm the biggest Aditi fan in the world. I follow everything that you do. I watched your game on Sunday.
Well, Aditi, you got to come pull up into studio when we get that back up and going there.
Sure. If I ever get a game in Cleveland, we'll see, right? Who knows? Well, the way things are
I'm
going.
about to say, you want to come to Cleveland and watch this stuff, right?
Hey, can you cheer us up? Because right now, like I'm usually drinking the Kool-Aid, but after last week, man, I'm just questioning so much right now. I just don't see. I asked Mary Kay, I said, I don't see what they do well. I don't. I asked her this question. Do you believe in having an identity? Because for me, I saw the Baltimore Ravens run the ball 40-some times against the Cowboys and just say, this is what we're going to do. And I've seen what the Steelers have done with Justin Fields, just playing the way the Steelers do. It's just for us, I don't know what that is. And right now when we're struggling, we can't do 2 or 3 things well and build off of it and try to build something. What do you say about the identity crisis of the Cleveland Browns? Or do you even think they got one?
Okay, so there's a lot there, and I have a lot to say, but because I was on my my crew call, I missed it. What did Mary Kay say? Did she say that there is anything that is being done well right now?
She said, well, she doesn't believe that you need an identity. I mean, you just need to do whatever you're going to do well. Like you can throw the ball a lot one week, and then the next week you can come back and run the ball a lot. Not necessarily that you need to be able to do one thing specifically all the time from game to game. And I guess I pushed back a little bit and said, well, we're not doing anything well. We can't, we're not running the ball. We're not protecting. We need something that we can build to say, hey guys, let's start with this. And we need to move the ball this way to get us on track.
Gee, I agree with her in that it's not about having the same formula every week. It's, true balance, for example, offensively, is not being 50% pass and 50% run every single week. It's being able to pass when you need to pass. It's being able to run when you need to run. And that is game to game within a game. That's like in the fourth quarter, if you need to run the ball to run out the clock, you need to be able to run the ball. That's balance. So I buy that part. But I do think that teams need an identity to hang their hats on. And, I'll tell you, this past week, I was with the Panthers and the Raiders, and Antonio Pierce was talking about this, that as exciting as the Raiders win over the Ravens was the week before, he said, our identity is not throwing the ball 40 times a game. Even Gardner Minshew said that. He said, our identity needs to be physical, needs to be aggressive, needs to be able to take it at you. And we need to be running the ball at least 20, 25 times a game. And it's not working for them yet, but that's what they want to be. And that's what they want to hang their hats on. You're talking about the Steelers. Well, the Steelers have won ugly. The first 2 weeks they've won ugly. They're starting to open things up a little bit more. But you know what? Like, that's their identity. We're going to play great defense. We're going to outlast you. We're going to control the clock, and we're not going to make mistakes. Okay, so lean into who you are. And I think the thing with the Browns is that as well as they have run the ball, as amazing as I think Nick Chubb is, we know that in this offseason, there was an organizational directive to augment this pass game and grow that pass game. And so clearly we're not seeing the returns of any of that just yet. I think a huge piece of that is that this offensive line hasn't been healthy in any way. An even bigger piece of that is that this group just hasn't played together. I mean, they didn't play together in the preseason at all. They're still trying to get its legs underneath it, or they, them, whatever. I need to make all my tenses match. But I don't know. But this is where I'm really old school. I understand that some people think that big, high-flying pass games are exciting. I think that fans can find brutalizing physical run games, enormous hard-hitting defenses exciting too. And I think that when you talk about the AFC North, when you talk about Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, those fan bases love grinded out physical teams. And so I don't like, if something's working for you, it's working for you. But again, this is not why I'm paid the big bucks. This goes to somebody else. The decision was made to pass more and spread the ball more and spread the offense more. So we're seeing the growing pains of that because it hasn't yet taken.
Do you think that Kevin and Deshaun just don't match? Do you just think that, because that's what it looks like? It comes off as like those two's philosophies just don't match.
You know, the only thing I'd say there, Tyvis, is that I really truly believe Kevin when he says he wants to do what the quarterback likes. So, you know, Kevin Stefanski is not a man who's a slave to a scheme in any way. It's not like I will only run this and that's what I want to run. It's not like these are my favorite red zone plays, so these are the plays I'm going to call in the red zone. I really, truly believe that he is trying to play to his players' strengths, and he wants to meet Deshaun where Deshaun is. I don't know that we've seen the magic yet. But I don't think it's fair to say that they're just not puzzle pieces that fit, because I really do think that Kevin Stefanski is trying very hard to meet Deshaun where he is.
Yeah, no, I get that. It is part of it though, because it's like, you know, I want to say maybe recently, Aaron Rodgers, when he was with Nathaniel Hackett, everything was great, MVPs and all that. He had a season with Matt LaFleur. It kind of wasn't the same. He gets back with Nathaniel Hackett. Boom, he's throwing for whatever he did on Thursday night. So it's just like I was saying, like those two, maybe those guys aren't peanut butter and jelly like that. You know, that's all I was saying.
I mean, they're different people. Like, you know this, right? Like Dustin, you've played with coaches that you're like, this is my kind of guy. Like, this is, we kind of look at football the same way. We like jive. And then you've like, Tyvis, you know this. Like, sometimes you're just like, you're different people. That doesn't mean that you can't work together. I mean, I'll give you another one. Devontae Adams and I were talking this weekend about, you know, like Gardner Minshew, the Raiders quarterback. He's just a different dude. Okay. He's just different than anybody else that plays quarterback in the National Football League. And Devontae said to us, he's like, so what? He's like, I worked 10 years with Aaron Rodgers and we are a lot different. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you can't make it work, that you can't get on the same page where you need to get on the same page, but we just haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's philosophical. I don't think it's personality. I wouldn't point to that. I don't want to say what I'm going to point to. I'm just going to keep that to myself. But I don't think it's philosophy, and I don't think it's personality.
Hey, listen, I be telling that I be loving. I love when people be making business decisions. I don't got to. Don't you try to peer pressure me. We ain't doing that.
Protect the bag at all costs.
At all times.
We all have to make business decisions at some point, right? Come on now.
No, there's no doubt. No doubt. Well, last week it seemed like Vegas made some business decisions, bid-ass decisions. So where are we at with Vegas now? I mean, you covered them. That was an interesting game. You know, Carolina comes in and played great with Dalton at quarterback. So I don't know. I felt like a trap game for Vegas because they come off the big Ravens upset, and then they have to come back and play Carolina in a spot where everyone in the world thought that Carolina would lose that game. Well, now they're sitting there probably looking at the Browns like a get-right game for them.
So a few things here. Number one, it's sort of criminal that after those 9 years in Cincinnati, Andy Dalton didn't have another chance. You know, like he's like quietly toiled in Dallas and New Orleans. Last year he got one start and he lit it up in that one start. But anybody who's actually been around the Panthers could tell you that, you know, his ball has zip. He has that presence. The experience is immediately obvious in the huddle. Andy Dalton is not a washed up, done. Like even if Zach Taylor was ready to move on from him, Andy Dalton still has ball in him. He also is at that perfect point in his career where he's 14 years in, and he didn't know if he'd ever get a chance. So he gets to play with a level of freedom that he's never had before in his life, right? Like the way that he put it to me is that earlier in his career, he was always worrying, like, okay, what's next? What's next? What does this mean for my career? Is this going to turn to this? Now, like, he doesn't know if he's ever going to get another chance. So you lose nothing by going out there and balling. Next, the Panthers were really, really close. It was something as silly as just giving a play a half second more so it could develop. And Bryce Young, who truly, truly, truly is a genuinely wonderful young man, I mean, his confidence has been shot. He has nothing to stand on. And so he was just getting rid of the ball a little too soon. And if you would watch film, you'd see like the play was there if he could have waited half a second. Well, Andy's got that veteran experience to wait half a second. The Panthers were actually a lot closer and have a lot more talent than you would realize. So there was all of that. And then the biggest piece was you're sitting the guy that's supposed to be your future and your franchise quarterback 2 games in. If that doesn't wake up the entire locker room, if that doesn't give the entire locker room a sense of urgency that nobody is safe, well, then I don't know what else could. So obviously, the Panthers had all of that going for them internally, no matter what people were seeing on the outside. And then as for the Raiders, I like AP a lot. I just love that he has no ego about what he's doing. He is following his mentors in Tom Coughlin and Marvin Lewis, and he is the CEO head coach. He is trusting his coordinators and his coaches to coach. He's trying to do the big picture thing. I watched it from the sideline as like he's trying to juice his guys that quite frankly just didn't have the same energy, which is crazy that in their first game home, coming off that big win. But I think a big piece of it was the Panthers going down on the first drive and scoring on them. And even bigger than that is that Max Crosby just wasn't himself. You know, he tweaked his ankle. They kept insisting to us all week that it was just a tweak, that Max was fine. Then we saw that Max wasn't playing every snap. The previous week, he played every single snap, which is insane for an edge rusher. I actually asked Antonio Pierce in our live first quarter interview, what's going on with Max? And he just insisted, we're just being smart. That's it. But clearly he was limited in some way. And Max Crosby is the engine that drives that ship. And if he's not full force, if he's not out there, if he's not able to get into that rhythm of constantly being out there, I think it bleeds into the entire team. I would be very surprised if they were to come out similarly flat, dead, whatever cliche you want to use this week. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you that Antonio Pierce is telling his team that Browns team is not solving its problems against us. Having said that, the Browns could go in there, and if they could play up to their potential, do what they want to do. I mean, Gardner Minshew is unbelievably streaky. He had a terrible game. This offensive line just can't seem to block. They can't get their run game going. So there are things to be done. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is an impossible matchup, but again, the Browns need to get right. I agree with you guys.
It sounds like both teams are in the same boat. You know, you talk about Max Crosby being hurt, Miles is hurt. They can't figure it out. The Browns can't figure it out. So whoever figures it out first is going to win this game.
Tyvis, I'm just glad I'm not on that game. I'll tell you. We've seen some terrible offensive football the first 2 weeks of the season. Let somebody else manage that one. That's what I'll say.
What is the biggest, just league wide, just in a big, big picture? What has surprised you the most this season? We've seen rookies playing very well. We've seen the quarterback play be down in terms of yardage. Teams like the Bengals are 0-3 week to week. We don't know what we're getting. From your perspective, what has been the most interesting part of the first 3 or 4 games of the season?
I mean, I think what is the number? How many AFC teams have a winning record? Like, to me, the AFC is the better conference, is the dominant conference, is the conference that has all the star quarterback power. And yet, like, you look through the league and AFC team, what is it? Is it only 8 AFC teams that have a winning record? I might be making that up. I can look it up, but I hate like looking down at my phone while we are talking to each other. But
I
like
got 6.
6, is that it? Yeah. I mean, there's 7
With winning records?
No, there's 6. You're right.
6
AFC teams with a winning record. How insane is that? And that Cincinnati and Jacksonville
cannibalizing themselves.
Yeah, and then like the mess in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, who 2 years ago they were the darlings of the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, and like you're just seeing the star rise under Doug Peterson, and then
he had that comeback win in the playoffs, and they played. And they went to Kansas City, played tough for a couple quarters. You're like, oh, he's next.
Exactly. That's crazy to me. I don't know. It's just, but again, like I keep saying the same thing, and I sound like such an old curmudgeon when I say it, but like play in the preseason. Like the purpose of the preseason is to get ready for the season, and nobody is ready. So it's just like a lot of junky football right now.
Where are you at this week?
I'm in Indianapolis. Somebody is talking to me. My watch might be telling me I'm screaming too much. I'm in Indianapolis. I have the Steelers, the very surprising 3-0 Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts, who have a young quarterback who can't seem to get on track just yet, despite winning this last week. So we have the 3-0 Steelers at the 1-2 Colts, and it should be interesting.
It's wild. I can't figure these teams out. I can't figure them out.
But you know what, guys? I should be on in your market, right? You should be able to watch me. Do you guys get when Cleveland is the 4:00 game? Do you get the Steelers at 1:00?
Yes.
Yes.
Or do you get the
it depends. It depends who else is playing. We typically get a divisional game.
Okay. Well, hopefully you have me.
But you know what? I'm going to watch you anyway. Aditi, because you're my favorite.
Aww. Flattery will get you everywhere.
The Bengals do play at 1 too. They play the Panthers at 1.
Well, see, listen, Dustin. I'm gonna have to step my game up. I might have to make baked goods.
Hey man,
I won't do it. I just have my mom do it. But I gotta be telling my mic. But she's vegan now, so you gotta find a vegan dessert.
I'm vegetarian, just not.
So it's vegetarian. You done went all the way out of the game. You done crossed over.
No, I've always been vegetarian. I always like dairy, yogurt, cheese. I can't say bye to that stuff.
Oh man,
the vegan one.
I was in your hood week 1, by the way.
Get out, and you didn't call me. Oh, I was in. My hood,
well, you were.
Why'd you come to Pittsburgh?
I had Pitts open.
Yeah,
I had Pitts open.
Favorites, and they don't even link. You see that, G?
Wait, Dustin! I was at that game at Kent State. You called the Kent State game?
Yeah,
I did.
Get out.
Favorites, though.
We were there. We were on the field game.
Come on.
The referee gave my son the coin toss coin, which was unbelievable.
Hey.
You didn't want to come up to the booth and say hi? I mean, you didn't like look at the game notes and find out who's announcing the game? And come on.
I knew you were there. Then I would have talked my way up there.
I know. I'm
totally teasing. I mean, I got rained on. I sat.
I actually feel bad that I didn't know you were there.
Y'all supposed to know each other's location at all times.
You're supposed to share locations with y'all favorites.
You know what? That was my last Saturday home for 18 weeks, and of course, I took my children to a football game. But how about Pitt? Can we talk about Pitt for a minute? Because how about Pitt?
We can. Yeah. I mean,
Narduzzi got Eli Holstein.
Eli Holstein, baby.
Never heard.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I wonder if I get to keep him, or if NIL money will lure him someplace else.
No, I think he's pretty happy. He came from Alabama, and he loves it at Pitt, and he loves it. So I met his parents.
Oh,
I saw his parents at Serafino's on Friday night.
Oh, get out. So fun.
I swear.
Hey, Serafino's. The Serafino's look. I went in. Sound like one of the restaurants that ain't got no prices. You just go in and you just hope. You just like they got. They got
it was a little hole in the wall. It was a hole in the wall that Narduzzi sent us to. It was good.
Oh,
Shout out to Narduzzi.
Yeah, shout out to him. Man. He's still cool. That's crazy. He's still cool.
Yeah, well, we gotta Coach Narduzzi and I have to work on some of his media. What do we call it? Media interactions.
Yeah,
you got work with him.
That's not shocking.
He's always good. He's always good in production meetings.
I mean, he's fantastic. I love him. I just don't love that after the backyard brawl, the first thing he did was talk about the refs. So
yeah, no, I hate when coaches do that. Yeah, who knows?
That's okay. His kids are playing. Those guys are playing so well. I'm so excited for the resilience that they've showed. 2 big come from behind wins over Cincinnati and West Virginia, and it's exciting.
Yeah,
exciting. I don't know that they needed to hang 73.
Hey, the ACC is wide open. The ACC is wide open.
Yeah, you're the expert on this. I just cheer.
I just had Duke on Saturday.
Well, you know what, Dustin? If you go out to Vegas, Luke Getsy, who's the Raiders' offensive coordinator, is a Pitt man. And before Eli Holstein, he was the last freshman to start at quarterback for Pitt.
Look at that nugget.
Hey,
Gene
man,
and Tyvis have like tuned us out. They're like, if you want to talk about
they're
Ohio
out of
State,
here.
pay attention.
If it ain't Ohio State or Big Ten related,
I will say Ohio State kid, Jonathan Cooper, that I met week 2 in Denver.
Yeah,
great young man. Breakout year last year. I think he's going to have another monster year. He definitely speaks well for Ohio State. And Justin Fields is one of yours. Aren't you excited about Justin Fields?
Yeah,
I'm very excited about Justin Fields. So is Tyvis.
All right, we getting yelled at. We got to wrap.
Yeah, we got to go.
Right.
We got to go, Aditi.
And by the way, Aditi, your
Wow.
internet is you paying that high speed broadband right now. You got that fiber optics right
You
now.
know what? I got to tell you, my internet is like Gardner Minshew. It's apparently very streaky. But I think it's StreamYard. Like, I think StreamYard is better than vMix for me.
Yeah, StreamYard loves you.
So hopefully whatever you are doing with your vMix is going to fix things for me.
Yeah. So we glad to have you, Didi.
I
So
will hold my breath on that.
take care. Tell your kids to have a great day off. I don't know if they got a remote, but they can hang out a little bit.
And
All right.
enjoy
Thanks,
Pittsburgh.
guys.
Thanks, Aditi.
Appreciate
See you later.